Welcome back to the Profit School podcast. And today we're going to be talking about ad creatives. We're going to be building out ad creatives for a campaign that we're going to be running. We're going to be trying a lot of different tools. We're going to try a bunch of different formats, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So Mercer, welcome. And yeah, let's go ahead and build out some
do
ads. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and set some context here as to where we are and what we're doing. And the context to start is what we're going to be advertising, the product we're going to be advertising. So we do have a sales page up, and I want to go to the sales page, and then we're going to see where that leads from here. So the product that we are trying to get ads up and running for is our 4-day bot building workshop. We're calling this the Battle of the Bots. This is something where you and I are going to go duke it out, and we're going to build AI bots using common tools that you can get off the shelf to the point where you can replicate yourself, you can replicate team members, and you can be more efficient in your business. And so if you've gotten random AI results over and over again, and you're like, hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, this is your way to be more consistent and your way of really showing that you can do this over and over again. And it's the starting point. It's a building block for being able to make your team not rely as much on consultants, not rely on as much on specialty knowledge, let's say. So how's that sound, Mercer?
So far, so good.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm not going to go too much into this page because anybody who's interested can check it out, but there is some images on here that we've generated. There's our framework in place. There's some stuff that you can pull from that might be good for ad creative. And so now in the old days, what you do is you'd say, hey, here's our page, or here's the landing page, go generate some creative. And your ad agency would go through and they would just take your images or take your text and turn it into ads. I did this for decades, for over a decade, Mercer, where I would just take whatever the client's page was and put it up there. And nice. Honestly, there's elements of that now. It's just that it used to be a take a while to do that, right? You'd scan the page, you come up with text, you'd send it to the client, get their approval, their revision. You'd have them, you'd talk to their designers to see if you could get a design, or you'd hack together a design. And that would be how you'd create a campaign. But building a campaign, the creatives alone and the approval process and everything like that was a 1-month process usually from when you had the ideation to get it going. So, and that includes doing some of the account structure and everything. And I think that's the old way of doing it. And now there's the message out there from Zuckerberg that by the end of this year, they don't want to have anybody do creatives. They're going to have automatically do one button click and you'll have your creatives.
Yeah.
Right. Now that's scary because what if it's not working? But if they know templates, they know templates. If they can scan your page and do that, that's great. So we went from something that was a 1-month process to today we can do it in this podcast. We can do solid creatives and multi formats and do all that stuff right now. And then maybe in a year, it might be something where you just one click it, or you put that campaign and you see what Meta ads can do compared to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we do want to have some control. I think we want to do the strategic process, because generally speaking, when something happens, when it's automatic, usually it doesn't have all the nuance you do. It doesn't have all the experience you have. And it almost never works how they intend it to, at least the first time. So even if they release that product, it's not going to be perfect. So we still need to go through the steps, and we still need to think about what is a compelling message, what is a compelling creative that we can get into, that we can show people, right? What is the compelling thing we can do? So rather than me telling us on this podcast that this is how you have to do it in 2025, I think we should do some research, and we should be AI first and think about, okay, well, we have our ways that we might do it, but what is AI telling us? So I actually did a deep research report first and foremost to see what are people talking about in the world of ads when it comes to right now, what's working specifically for our type of business. So I actually have the report right here. I'm reading it for the first time, but here's what I did. I said, can you summarize the ad formats that are working in advertising, live trainings around technology, AI, coding, marketing this year? I only want information in 2025. And then it's like, I want to do deep research, but summarize by category with recommendations, like what other recommendations, what must you do, what ad networks, what creative formats, what placements and networks, what budgets, what KPIs. So I try to keep it pretty open-ended. Mm-hmm. And they asked me some clarifying questions, which they always do in deep research, which is great. And I just clarified that. So nothing really major here of how I clarified it. But then they ran a deep research report. It took them 7 minutes, 15 sources, 70 searches. It would take us a lot longer to do that ourselves. Yeah. And so the most effective ad networks, they're saying Meta is core, highest ROI channel by 25% of marketers. So they're pulling it from this study from Design Rush, which is great, because normally you have to go find that yourself, right? So we can even look at that report and see how this helps us out, where the data comes from. You can even go all the way deep into that if you want to. So then they're saying YouTube, 90% of video marketers use YouTube. 90% of marketers report that video has an excellent ROI, and they want pre-rolls. So they're telling us formats as well. LinkedIn, which is good because I had LinkedIn on my list of things to try that I wanted to do because we are pretty B2B here. TikTok, maybe we'll have to go there. And then Google ads, the old workhorse, right? Search and display ads. So that makes sense. So we're pretty well covered on here, at least from the recommendations. If I would have maybe said, can you give me some second tier or some obscure networks, then maybe we would even have more recommendations here. But this is,
or specifically like which brand it's for type of thing. Cause it'd be like, oh, your business model, it's going to be these things or those things. But what I really like about this is this AI first mentality of let's not just do what's in our head from yesterday. Let's see what the new truth is. If there is a most current truth, AI is going to know it, or at least help us get that, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like let's update our truth.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't done it in a while, or if you're doing it for the first time, then that's an easy way to get that going. So ad creative formats, short form video ads, which makes a lot of sense. I think we both know that, but they are, they can be challenging to produce. Carousel ads, which is where you have multiple images or cards that swipe. Testimonials, user generated content. Those are the three that they're recommending here. They're not saying, they're basically the image, text, and video, which is great because that's what I want. Those are the things that I was going to be able to demo and show us here.
Nice.
And then as far as best performing placements and strategies, high engagement placements. So where they're engaged, this is in the news feed. This is, in a place where it has to stop the scroll, basically is what they're saying. Ads where they have to watch it or they have to click action to get out of there. Make sure that you're very precise with your audience. So they even tell you what targeting is working because this changes all the time. You might think, hey, it's this or that, but honestly, they're saying this is how you should target. And this one, they're not citing the research. So you might, if any one of these things, if you don't believe it, I would just dig in more. Lookalike audiences for sure. That always seems to work. Retargeting, that makes a lot of sense too. I think for this one, we might just do a form of retargeting or as closely as we can. But we'll that remains to be seen. And then recommended budgets, funnel structure. So, you do awareness, should be 50 to 60% of your total spend, middle of funnel 20 to 30%, and then bottom of funnel 20 to 40%. That adds up to more than 100%, folks. But as you can see, that's the recommendation they're saying here, depending on how much you're top of funnel. Let's see if there's anything else in here that's interesting. I don't want to go through all this, but what benchmarks can you use for success? Cost per lead, cost per acquisition. Obviously, that makes sense. ROAS, these are the standard ones we've seen. So that's a pretty good summary of what they view as working in ads right now. And I think that gets us into a good direction, right? It gets us into the right mindset that if we are doing, we have to have some kind of video component. The images can't just be a single image. It has to be sort of a connected journey that you're taking somebody on. And then you need some kind of text to summarize or to highlight what you're working on. And that's what I'm gathering from this. And then you probably need to do it on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Meta ads as well. Or you would want to experiment with those things. Okay, does that sound pretty good?
I like it.
All right, then the next thing I want to do is what is the competitive set? What can we do for competitive research? So everybody probably knows about the Meta ads library. And I just saw this guy's ad this morning, so there's nothing specific about this being a competitor necessarily. But I wanted to see what somebody who is actively advertising in the market right now, you can see this is filtered on active ads. What type of ads are they running? Does that corroborate what Meta is saying? So you can see this might be a carousel, this might be an individual image, but this looks like it's generated with ChatGPT. I can tell from the way that it looks. Then you have video, a lot of videos, right? And you could watch any one of these videos from the Meta ads library. Video, mostly video, right? And then you get some statics back in there. Here's another static one. I've seen a lot of static from this person, so I was more curious about that than anything. But it seems like video is the way to go, right? Everybody's doing video or an image. I don't see carousels here, but I'm seeing images. Okay, so this is just it's just a self check. Now you can, if you've seen an ad, it's your competitor. If you know your competitor's advertising, put them in here and see what shows up. if they're running a ton of ads, it can be confusing. I saw one that had 1,000+ ads and it was all in different languages. So it wasn't super useful for me, but you can still do filters here and see, you can choose different languages and say that, hey, I only want English ones in order to whittle that down a little bit. The thing is, like, is it being advertised as a person or is it being advertised as a company? Those are all important things to look at. Okay, so the next thing is I want to sort of get right to the point here, and I want to see how easy it is to create ads with AI using like an all-in-one AI suite. So I have a membership to AdCreative.ai, and anybody can sign up for this. But ultimately, I learned the ProfitSchool brand. It has our colors. It has a few other things in here, and I want to see how easy it is now to create assets. Now, the cool thing is that when you go to generate here, it says, do you want ad creatives, high converting ads with an image of your product or service? They can even do photo ads, videos, stock images. They can do ad videos. They can do a lot. So this pretty much is an all-in-one tool, as you can see. And so why don't we give it a shot? Let's do a project. Okay. Let's just see what the auto thing can be. Okay. So I want to go into the AI generated asset selection, and it looks like you have to choose what type of thing you want to do. So I'm actually really curious about the videos, Mercer, because I just want to see what this can do. So upload. So this is a single product video, which is not really what we want. Upload any image or video to be included in the generated videos. Okay, so it doesn't look like it can just scan our site. That's what I was really expecting to see.
To see if like it would generate its own video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's saying, so I think this would be, this requires a product image. This is saying any image or video to be included in the generated videos. So I think I might have to come back to this.
It might though, because it does say like,
let's see. Okay, so tell us about your product, so you can upload your video or image. And so I'm just going to go ahead and try uploading an image that I created. Let me just see if I can do that easily. I'm going to take that offline for a second and go ahead and
get. It might even be too like that. If you have like a video or something on the Battle of the Bots or talking about a product or service.
Yep.
Like a video tour might be useful there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put in some stuff about this, some of the stuff from the sales page. So some of the images that we use there, and just get something in here. I don't have any videos, but that's actually what I was going to work on next anyway. So let's go back into here. So I'm uploading 10 files. So here's at least some assets. Okay. Let's just see this bottleneck breakthrough one. Let's just see if how this might look. Let's actually do a few. I can only select one at a time, it looks like. So we're just selecting one for right now. Okay. Now, I wanted this to be a vertical video, so this is going to be pretty challenging, but you can see you put a headline in there, and that's ultimately what it's allowing you to do. So you can remove the background from it, which sort of ruins, I think that probably ruins that image. You can see it just crashed it. I'm going to go I'm going to do a landscape one, and I want to see if this can, what it looks like now. Okay. So I'm going to go to my library. I'm going to select this one, and I still can only select one at a time. I'm actually going to do just the Battle of the Bots, and let's see what they come up with here. Okay. So there we go. And then you can write your own ad text, or you can generate text with AI. And then I'm going to drop my URL in there and see what they come up with. Okay, Battle of the Bots workshop, project text tone. I want it to be, let's say, enthusiastic. English, join the Battle of the Bots workshop to build your AI dream team. So this is the text that they're doing. And that's who our target audience is. And our call to action is, let's just say, sign up now. Okay.
Did you tell it the target audience was entrepreneurs and business owners, or like earlier in the project sort of thing, or did it figure that out based on the context?
What was that?
Because it had in there, in that settings section, it had in there like target audience. It said entrepreneurs and small businesses. Oh, yeah. Was that you saying, hey, this is what ProfitSchool does in the setup of this? Or
they must have that was that's cool. They just figured that out. Yeah. I like the button, join the battle. I don't know if I like this. Let's say suggest a variation here. because I don't really, the coding part isn't the most important thing to me. Maybe it is to them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good question. Is coding the angle? Because they're just pulling that from the headline. So they're pulling that right from the top.
Yeah. And normally people are going to think like automation training or something like that for this, where this is kind of creating things that would be used for that is kind of what this is for.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm not sold on the creative, but or on the text, but I don't think that's the end of the world. So let's just go ahead and generate this thing and see what the video is that they produce. Okay. So they're actually creating a video. And while we're doing that, I was thinking, what if I had video to upload? Would that make it better? You know, so that's what I wanted to do next. I actually took our AI first challenge that we just did and I uploaded it to Opus Clip. And I used that as a way to, I just generated our workshop that we did yesterday or the day before we recorded this. And I just said, hey, create clips of it. So here's a 2-minute 57 thing of you creating in Gemini.
That's cool.
That's actually really good.
So these you can take that and just this is the asset, or you take this and say, here's the thing, now go make me assets from this.
Yeah. So this could be a video that we run as an ad.
Okay.
Just like that. You can just download it and run it as an ad. You can obviously post this to organic social as well. But this is me going through the sales page. So that's actually pretty cool because it's actually a walkthrough of the sales page. So
Which is good because now you have more like top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel style messaging. Yep,
exactly. Yeah. And so what I would probably do is put a few of these into the hopper and just see which one works because I'm not really emotionally tied to any of these things necessarily.
The beauty of AI.
Yeah,
you don't have to be emotionally tied because AI is making the decisions.
Yep.
Obviously, technically you are. I get it, but
so this just created a ton of ads, as you can see, for us.
Yep.
And it even has a score. So these things are all given a score. So that's pretty cool. I don't, it's cool just that it's good, that it's done.
Yeah. Like it's fast. It's a little clunky looking, right?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't,
but you're going really fast. Like that's just like, hey, throw this thing in there, click. Look, you can at least get this. Yeah. Now it's go back.
Yes.
Okay, let's put the right video, the right image, the right.
It's refining it and coming up with those ideas. But it can it created a video.
Yeah.
It created multiple videos for us that we can test and rotate. But when we ping pong with other systems, that's where it starts to get really fun. Okay. So it's like, okay, now we have a video. Let's try and add video. Create ad videos with unique story, custom scenes, and voiceover, all powered by our AI. That's interesting. So maybe we can, let's see what happens here. So
some of this is interesting too, just from the standpoint of like, it's not about, hey, we're going to use it, but it's about, hey, we want to get ideas from it.
Yes.
Too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you could test this. You could run this through your own, you could have your people, you could put that into your social media without making it and see what actually gets.
How much is this roughly?
This tool?
Yeah.
We bought a lifetime deal back in the day. I think that I'm not sure what it costs now, honestly. So probably I would guess between $20 and $100 a month.
That's not bad.
But it's so much better than it was.
It takes out so much effort. Yeah.
It's really good. Like it was pretty clunky back in the day. But it's really good now. And I can't believe they still.
Yeah, I know a few other marketers that use this quite a bit. They like this tool.
Interesting. So they have a voiceover artist. Let's do Alice. Okay. I'll just do this. Wow. So this is the thing is like I've avoided videos because I knew how much time it's going to take and how much effort it is. This is basically a faceless video based on our copy and our content. Right there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I have the
obviously assuming it works, but it's that concept of like you said, you're getting into action faster because of AI, which is the entire part of this, which is just get out of your own head. All the stuff you used to think was effort, you don't have to make a choice on. Here's some ideas. Like that's freaking awesome.
That's a British accent.
Very cool. And I can't hear the
that's fine.
The sound of it, but
it's not great.
Okay.
But that's all right. That's that but it gives like we can like it's really the tone. It's like a British accent. Not really for our audience. It's pretty slow. So I might work on that some more. But again, even if I don't like it, that doesn't mean that it's bad, right? You can just like, it might stop the scroll. And that's the point, is that that's what you're trying to do here, is to stop the scroll to get people to pay attention to it. Generally, the ads you don't like are the ones that do the best. So now this is another piece of assets. Now we have all these assets. We have these assets. We have videos that didn't take very long to create, that we're not emotionally attached to, we don't have to make it work because we rented out a studio and we made sure that worked, or, hey, I did this when I was on vacation. It has to be that one. We have options. And we haven't even gone through all those. I mean, it'd be fun to go through everything this can do, but I'm not sure that's really going to be beneficial because there's a lot of options that are in here, as you can see. And so maybe for an ad video, I might upload that video that I had and just see what happens. Okay, so let's upload to our library that one.
So this is like a project file where you say, here's all the stuff that you have access to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It says it must be under 25 megabytes. So that's, okay. So maybe that's going to be a challenge for us to have that, but, I'll see if I can get that going in the background. I'd have to trim the video down a little bit, but I want to move on to other tools anyway. I don't want to spend all of our time on just one. So we've been using AdCreative.ai. We've been using Opus Clip. We've been using things that are within Meta, things that are within ChatGPT. Now, what about the copy? What about the copy themselves? So we have our various bots from Genesis, from the copy coders, and they have these 3 different ad bots we're going to try: the Infinite Ads bot, the Ugly Ads bot, and the ChatGPT Meme Ads bot. So I just want to see what they come up with. Again, we're just generating options. This is like the equivalent of having a really creative experience yourself, like brainstorming in a room. Like, let's just see what the creatives are. Let's just see what the options are that we can go with. Okay.
But you're brainstorming with a team of people that are specialized, or it's people's loose, right?
Yes.
Like you're this virtual team that's specialized in these specific things. So you're not just spinning your wheels, you're coming up with ideas for a purpose to take action on this thing. And this is what makes this faster because of that. That's cool.
I love that. That's a good way, really good way to frame it up. So this is saying visual. This is the visual for what a video would look like. What if your expertise could work for you 24/7, even while you sleep? Imagine having a team of digital experts that never needs breaks, vacations, or sick days, all executing your exact methodology with perfect consistency. So then you have your visual here. So I wanted to just see, this is an example of what would be like a single image ad, right? With text. Yeah. That's the traditional way.
Can you do me a favor? Can you put that in chat? Just so I can see it, because I want to copy and paste and try something.
Yeah.
On my end too. I have the VO3.
Okay.
Which is nice. So I want to try to see, like, can I create those videos? Like, is it like as a visual? I can create the visual, right? Because you're going to do that too on ChatGPT. I want to see what Gemini does with it, with Imagen 4. But I also want to see, can I turn that into a video? And then maybe you have like these little mini video. Because if this stuff can do that, or we can create one that does that, it says, oh, here's a video. Then you go to this, then it's this B-roll, then it's this B-roll. It sort of describes the video that might be rolling. We can get that in Avatar.
And actually, I'm sending you the whole thing now. This would be possible in VO3, because this actually gives you each image you want. So this is actually a video script. Now that I say that out loud, I wasn't thinking that is a video script. This is all one ad. And this is the individual cuts. So it's not saying visual, here's a text, visual, here's a text. It's a B-roll. It's
B-roll video.
Creating video.
That's perfect.
Now, I want to try another tool, maybe if we have time, called Syllable, which does the same thing. It basically does faceless videos from everything. I haven't signed up for it yet, but I might sign up for that and give it a try, because I've been hearing really good things about that, and we sort of know the guy who created that one as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do it, but I wanted to see this visual itself and see if how ChatGPT could create that, for example. So I'm going to drop, while you're doing the VO3 thing, I'm just going to drop this visual and see what an image. And I hit the create image on ChatGPT, and I just want to see what that looks like as well. And if I like the visual, then we talked about carousels. Maybe I would create a carousel with each of these things. So instead of having to create a video, you're doing the same thing with just multiple visuals.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because then I could take all this text and put it in there. Now, I would not, since we're doing this live, we're not this is not something we're going to put into production necessarily. I would do more proofreading and more reviewing. We're just doing proof of concept right now for the most part for you to see how easy it is to create images. So this is not, don't expect that this will be production ready just by copying and pasting something. Okay, so we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. The next one is ugly ads. So you can put in your ugly ads and put it into here. Can you pull this from the URL I sent you? Okay. And then I'm going to go into this one. I'm happy to help you create some compelling visual ads for Battle of the Bots workshop. Let me understand types of visuals. Do you want a meme? Do you want rhetorical frames? Do you want narrative sequences? Symbol systems? I'm going to go with the visual one. I think that would be pretty cool, especially since we have, visualizing a framework, for example. So before, after. So again, these are all things you can send into the image. So this is a split screen image. And what we're doing is we're having AI create images based on the text, the emotion, using multiple different methods. We're using multiple different ways to extrapolate this is ultimately what we're trying to do in different angles. Because ultimately the offer is not, you don't want to have to change your landing page for every single ad you're doing. You want to see which ad gets the most clicks and then which one is the most congruent with your landing page as well. Mm. So here's the entrepreneur. So this is okay. This would probably be better in a video form with the VO3 like you're talking about, Mercer. Mm-hmm. Love to see what that looks like when all is said and done, because that's pretty cool. But at least we have, step one, and then we would get into number two. Now there's no text on here, which is fine because we can always add our own text in there later. And since it's in the same chat, hopefully it maintains the same visual style. And then this is the one where they actually created this thing. So let's go to step 2 here, where they're going to create it's somewhat complex. Okay, that's good to know. Demonstration of value.
And this is them grading?
Yeah, they're grading the idea.
Oh, gotcha. The hook, the angle, that makes sense.
And it's telling you what ad format to do.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool. It's telling you what type of ad you need. So they're saying text only ads. That's cool. Visual plus text, one striking visual. So that's they're saying they're not.
It's already giving me ideas for the upcoming Battle of the Bots. It's just like, let's create something that knows what ad is the best type of ad. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Yep. Let's go all 4. Okay, so this is again, we're going through the paces to generate ideas because we don't know what's going to work. What I would say is that more than ever, though, if it doesn't work right away, it's not going to work at all. So this is where you don't have to spend a ton of budget testing. Ultimately, if it works, it works. I read that with, like, for example, TikTok's algorithm, they show every video to at least a certain number of people. I think it's like 20 or 30 or something like that. And then if it passes the test of engagement metrics for those 20 to 30, then they'll start amplifying it. And I think that's how Meta works as well. Rhetorical frames. So you can see so these are the different ways we can look at it. And this is where you would create like a scientific looking diagram showing multiple factors affecting business. So I'm gonna actually give this one a shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and this is the second image we did. Writing emails, content, high level. So that's an example of this thing. So this might be a carousel, Mercer. You see how it's like 1, 2. They're not very consistent.
Before and after.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little weird with the hand pulling out of a computer like that, but hey.
Yeah. So this is where you'd have to really babysit this.
It's the AI doing the thing. That's what they're trying to communicate there. It's a little weird looking, but I get it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So and if we went through each of these different pieces here, we would have a carousel. I like this actually for a carousel. So if let's just do one more in that chat, and then I'm gonna actually jump into another. And I do use ChatGPT for images. It seems to me it's the one that works the best for me right now. That could always change, but let's just see. Okay, so this is the variable isolation diagram. So let's just go ahead and try that one. The one factor Facebook and Google mastered. That's sort of cool. And then this is just, let's see, this is text only ads. This is text ads that we can drop in. Stop being the bottleneck in your own business. Join the 4-day Battle of the Bots workshop. One bot. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, we've created potentially hundreds of ads now from a combination of copy and imagery. And we're just getting started.
And for each part of the user journey. So it's like, if they're just awareness stuff, you're not being like, hey, it's $200, go buy it now. Because that's not the message. It's it's creating, do you have this problem or these symptoms?
Yeah. Going back to our research, it's basically saying we should spend 30% on this on top of funnel.
Yeah.
Or 30 to or 50 to 60%.
Most of it on top of funnel awareness, right?
Yep.
And then the other 25 on each. Yep.
This is totally messed up, but that's yeah. So so you like you can just give it feedback and say this is totally not actually it is what it tells it to be. It's just not really working. Yep. Domino effect. Actually, this is sort of cool. I want to see the domino effect.
That's kind of interesting hook too. Chain reaction starts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually, so this could be a carousel right here, Mercer. Like if we can get that in the right one. Average business, 100,000. Facebook and Google, 1.2 million. That's actually really, so it's basically just it's a carousel of a video. So that's something we could put into the hopper. So we have a lot of assets here. I'm not sure how the VO is coming along, but we have examples of carousels now that we're creating. We have videos, multiple types. They're a little bit more generic. They're not bespoke. Maybe we can try a Syllable as well while we're looking at getting the Vimeo or the VO one to work as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this software. Actually, I think I might have already created an account. And there's some free stuff on here. So I want to do generate video. And let's just try one out. So let's see. Okay, so here's the video script, okay? So let's just drop our script in there and see if this creates something. This will be the head-to-head with VO3. Let's see what they do. Okay, so here's our script. We're going to choose, looks like we can use any one of these things. I don't want it to be too whimsy. Okay. Okay, let's just see what happens. It's too long. 6 minutes and 33 seconds. So that's part of it. This made a really long one. More like a video sales letter, if you think about it. Wow, this is okay. So they're going to give us one frame on this one. I think that they don't really understand it fully, but that's all right. This is where we learn, right? So maybe they don't take the visual cues.
I put in the chat to a link to the Google Drive link. I'm putting those 2 videos that were created by VO. And with all of this, like this is just the initial thing. I wouldn't prompt them the way I'm doing. I just want to kind of see what it did with those generic prompts. But if you leveled those up, kind of do some ping pong prompting to some of those and get really specific, and obviously there's a lot of other tools in Google's thing like Flow and things along those lines. I'm sure you have to download them.
I don't know if I can. Do you want to just show the videos? Because I'm not sure that I can do it properly in a browser. It's
let's see. I'll share kind of. Oh, yeah, it looks like I need to take it over from you.
I'll stop sharing. You can show it.
Move some things around here. Get you in the right location. All right. So this is the first one. So this was the frustrated entrepreneur sitting at the desk surrounded by late hours.
Yep.
So again, not horrible. I mean, time's way off because you're going to see the time thing kind of going faster than she's going type of stuff. But there's little things, but I'm like, that's, decent. This I knew was going to not be able to do this when it says like, oh, do the same entrepreneur. It's like that stuff never works. But let's see what it did. But I like this concept, right? This guy is, because the whole point of this was there's the entrepreneur visualizing stuff as AI is doing all the work, and the AIs are modeled after him. They kind of look like him a little bit, that was the prompt. Which was cool, right? Because they're visuals, digital twins of the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. Like, oh, here's the one that's writing copy for you. Here's the one that's doing this. Here's the one that's doing that. It's kind of a cool idea.
Wow.
And then this one I just put in there, so it'll be a little while.
And this is using this is like a personal account using Ultra, because you have to sign up.
Yeah, I'm on Ultra because that's the only thing that gets VO3.
Yep.
So I upgraded to Ultra on the personal accounts. Eventually that comes out on Workspace.
Yep.
And VO2 is still on Workspace. So you can still do it on Workspace accounts too.
Wow, that's so real though. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And imagine, like I said, if you took, this is just what they gave us. If I took this and said, okay, here's kind of what I'm trying to do. I want you to figure out what I'm really trying to do and define that. I think it'd be pretty amazing.
And then does it only give you 8-second clips? Is that what it is?
It's only 8 seconds. Yeah. There's a thing called flow where you can start connecting the dots. It's how people are making the mini movies, because they take this and you can do things in flow to say, okay, I'm going to start. This is the starting image, right? Or basically I can go to the end and say, this is the ending image. Now pick up from here and then do this. Mm-hmm. But that's done elsewhere, right? Yep. That's why I just wanted to kind of see what it would do. Because we would definitely have to fix things like the time clock is kind of a weird thing that's doing that.
Yeah.
But it does communicate the emotion behind it.
Well, especially when you add in a voiceover.
Yeah.
And you add in and you make that horizontal or vertical video, and then you string it together.
Here's the Google Facebook. So this is Google Facebook headquarters with a graphic overlay.
Yeah, see
that's kind of cool though, being able to do the the ins and outs, the swipes like that.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty. I mean, it's amazing how quick that happened.
I mean, this is hardly any direction, right? It's just like make something, and it's kind of what it's doing, roughly along the lines of the thing that we wanted. But very cool.
Let me show you the Syllable one, because this is pretty cool too. It will be hard to actually see the. Let's see, how do I share? So I have to change the script to get rid of the visual, because it's focusing too much on that.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But it says like,
So it doesn't have the face part, but it is communicating like if this is your day, this is what you're doing all the time, That's cool. Does this also do sound, or is it?
Yeah, it's a narrated. You can't hear it, but it's narrated by. It's not a professional sounding narration, like really professional.
Nice. That's cool.
So if we just went to the text, right, the actual script, and put that in there, they would choose the visuals for you. Yeah. So we would eliminate the visual blocks, and we would just drop the script in there, and it would.
And that's what's nice about some of these tools is they're wrapped like with a lot of pre-prompting, everything else, to sort of help you get past like what we just went through with VO, right? Where it's like you're going to get this generic looking thing if you do it with an LLM, because they're generic tools, right? Yes. That's what they're made for. They're made to do anything, so that's why it's all generic. And then these are more okay. We're going to use the same thing, but we're going to specialize it, and they wrap it in the the little.
Yeah, they know what. Yeah, they know what works in this area, so they built it around what works.
That's cool.
Yeah. So this is a short form video. It totally stops the scroll. Mm-hmm. It does what we need it to do, and again, there's no emotional attachment to it. If it doesn't work, then it wasn't going to work anyway. Yeah, you just keep on going.
Yeah.
So this is cool, man. It's so effective to have all these assets here, and then just be able to test it. And I do think that there's something to be said about it not I keep on saying emotion because people do buy based on emotion, but people actually self-sabotage with ads based on emotion too, because they don't like how they look or they don't like certain things. And this just eliminates that from the equation. Here's a bunch of stuff that we can try out and we can put out there and see what the market accepts. Which is
what do you do from here? Like, where does this go? What's your plan to go from? Because this stuff is awesome, and then it's like, okay, now we're spending money on Facebook and making sales. So like, how do you get to the making money on Facebook stuff?
Yeah. So like I created a test campaign in Meta ads, and let's just say like, we're gonna create a campaign. You can do test. You can do all the different ad stuff. I don't want this video to be like a master class on how to run ads. But you might have to do a follow up episode or something. But basically, you do this and you check it out and you get everything going. Like, what is our conversion event purchase, right? So you set up your campaign around what you want. Make sure that's all in place. Then you get into your ad sets and where you want it to run, what accounts you want it to run through, and so on. We want it to be a single image or a video. We want a carousel. So you'd create you put where you want it to go.
And then you still assemble the pieces basically.
Yeah,
as opposed to like hitting a button that says import this into Facebook, or like they don't have that sort of stuff.
This one does. So you can import it into Facebook. I've connected it to Meta ads.
Okay. And that'll automatically push the ad into the right, I guess, ad sets and campaigns and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I mean,
that's awesome.
Apparently it will. I mean, I'd have to double check, but I did hook it up. So when I set up my brand, it is set up to, you see like the Meta ad symbol, LinkedIn symbol.
LinkedIn. Okay, cool.
Those will push it into there as a test draft.
So at least it's sitting there for you. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So the idea is you'd get it into here like normal. You'd want to make sure you feed in the different things. You create your ad sets. You try a bunch of different things. You in this case, I would let Meta do a lot of it. If that makes sense, I would let Meta do a lot of the serving up and the testing, just to make sure that, just so they can test it out. This is for people just getting started. If you were really advanced and you wanted to move and get, make sure you have the best ROI or the best ROAS, then you might want to do more manual interaction. But if you're just trying to get something up there, just let the system figure it out for you, what's working. And then once you start to see what's working, then you would optimize with what you create, the creatives you do, the placements and everything, and be able to get some significant savings even from that. This is more just testing the waters, just getting back into advertising for people who haven't been doing it or did it a while ago, but they found that they could never create the assets. So that's really all I wanted to show, I think, on this one, is just to get us to the point where we have all these assets. We created some video assets. We did some research. We have some carousel images here. We have text we can use, and that's just getting started. Loading it into the system is really what's going to get this out into the world. You don't need to have a gigantic budget in order to test this stuff out. You can really get by with a smaller budget. But I just wanted to show people how the evolution has happened with advertising, where it's not so much that it has to be a major production effort. Creating video is 10 times harder than creating images, which is 10 times harder than creating text. Well, now you can have the benefits of all those pretty fast by doing things. Does it mean that you can just use AI and not have to edit it? Absolutely not. But that's not really the point right now. The point is to just get the juices flowing. Then in your management, which still requires effort and paying attention to what's going on, then you can start to see where my patterns are, what's emergent. And you're going from a generic research report that we pulled at the beginning to your own research with your own data. And you can do it in a way that doesn't cost you a ton of money to get started, just to test the waters. And that's really where I recommend people would start if they were just starting fresh with advertising, or if they wanted to advertise something like a live thing that was happening that was going away eventually. You can't spend 4 weeks doing creative for something that was live for 2 weeks. So this is something where we can get this up and running sooner than later, and we can have it running for 2 weeks before the workshop, testing it, getting data, and so on and so forth. So I will, and
then feeding those results back into AI, saying, "Hey, here's where it's going, and how would you fix this?" Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, I will never launch live ads on a podcast like this unless I had it all checked. So since we're doing the discovery part here, that's what we're doing. Maybe later on we can do a check-in. I would love to know if people want to see that. Like, how did these ads do? Which one performed better? So if you want to know that, leave us a comment here. Let us know that you want that. That might be good content for our Measure You brand, because Measure You is really about numbers and how we're optimizing things and making it work. So if you want to see the numbers behind this thing once it's out in the world, let us know by leaving a comment, and that'll be something we'll create, and we'll do a video reaction to this post over at the Measure You channel as well. Anything you wanted to add or think about as we're going through this, Mercer? Is this pretty interesting to you?
I like it. I like what you're showing because it's getting you out of your own head, right? So people can, because nobody knows the right answer to this stuff. The market is the one who knows the answer. So you're using these tools to be able to say, okay, what's your best guess? Let's move forward. Let's try it. I don't know. Let's figure it out and test and iterate. And I think it's gets people to action faster. So I love it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the results are because that's at the end of the day, it's all that matters. Right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you showing the process.
Well, the thing is, even if somebody knows exactly what type of ads work, they're not going to know which ad works. So if they know that it's carousels, you just don't have to do everything. You just create carousels, but you have 10 carousels now. Professionals are using these tools too. They're using the exact same things. They are not spending as much time on creative briefs, production, and all that stuff. They're taking assets and they're making it work because that's usually all they can do for the budget that people are paying them. That's usually all they can do in the time frame of getting something live. So everybody uses these tools. Hopefully you have the introduction to using it. What you might not know if you're just getting started is whether it's going to work or not. That's where you can tap into the expertise. But again, ask somebody like, hey, what type of things should I do? Give me your idea, give me some creative ideas, and then you can still publish that out there. This knowledge is pretty well available. You can run a deep research report. You can do some searches, figure out that stuff. You can give it a try. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, but it's going to be really cool to get something out there. It's going to be less to run or to create the ads than it is to pay for it anyway. So you might as well spend a little bit of time and effort into this thing, but let the market decide, and that's really where we're going. So we will be launching these into the world. Hopefully, you're all interested in seeing the results, and we'll check in on that. And thanks again for joining this episode of the Profit School podcast. Let us know in the comments or by sending us a message, whatever it is, if you like this new format, if you like the direction we're going in, because we think it's a lot of fun, but it's only going to be fun if you say that it's fun too. So let us know, give us that feedback, and we will see you on our next episode.